A world painted red, the rise of the British Empire. The British Empire was one of the largest empires in history. It spread across the globe, leaving its mark on every continent. Millions of people lived under British rule. This vast empire had a profound impact on the world we live in today. Its story is one of exploration, conquest, trade, and cultural exchange. Understanding the British Empire is key to understanding modern history. Its legacy is complex, full of both positive and negative aspects. We see its influence in languages spoken, laws enacted, and borders drawn. This essay will explore the rise and fall of this mighty empire. Seeds of empire, early voyages, and trading posts. The British Empire's roots lie in the age of exploration. During the 16th century, European nations sought new sea routes to the east. England, like its rivals, was eager for a share of the spice trade. Explorers like Sir Francis Drake sailed the seas, claiming lands for the crown. These early voyages established England's presence on the world stage. Trading posts were set up in Asia and the Americas. The East India Company, chartered in 1600, became a powerful force. It established trading dominance in India, laying the groundwork for future expansion. These early ventures marked the beginning of England's transformation into a global power. The American Colonies, a new world, a new power. The story of the American colonies is one of ambition, struggle, and transformation. The 17th century saw England establish a strong foothold in North America. British settlers arrived with dreams of prosperity and new beginnings, braving the unknown to carve out a new life. The first permanent English settlement, Jamestown, was founded in 1607. This marked the beginning of a new era, as settlers faced harsh conditions and numerous challenges to establish their community. Over the next century, 13 colonies were established along the Atlantic coast. Each colony developed its own unique identity, culture, and economy, contributing to the rich tapestry of early American life. These colonies offered new opportunities for land, resources, and trade. Settlers cultivated the land, built homes, and established thriving communities driven by the promise of a better future. The American colonies were crucial to the growth of the British Empire. They served as vital links in a vast network of trade, connecting the old world with the new. They provided raw materials like timber and cotton, fueling British industries. These resources were essential for the burgeoning Industrial Revolution back in Britain. They also became important markets for British goods. Manufactured items from Britain found eager buyers in the colonies, creating a symbiotic economic relationship. However, growing tensions between Britain and the colonies eventually led to the American Revolution. Discontent over taxes, representation, and autonomy fueled a desire for independence. This pivotal event in 1776 saw the colonies gain their independence, marking a turning point in the history of the empire. The Declaration of Independence was a bold statement of the colonies' intent to form a new nation, free from British rule. The jewel in the crown, India and the East India Company. This phrase encapsulates the immense value and significance that India held within the British Empire. While losing the American colonies was a blow, the British Empire continued to expand elsewhere. The focus shifted towards Asia, and India became the centerpiece of British ambitions. India, with its vast resources and population, became the jewel in the crown of the empire. Its rich agricultural lands, bustling markets, and diverse cultures made it an invaluable asset. The East India Company, initially a trading enterprise, gradually gained political control over large parts of India. What began as a quest for spices and textiles evolved into a complex web of political dominance. The company's rule was marked by both economic exploitation and administrative reforms. They introduced new taxation systems that often burdened the local populace but also brought about infrastructural developments. It introduced new systems of land revenue and established courts of law. These changes aimed to streamline governance but also served to tighten British control over Indian society. However, its policies often led to resentment and rebellion among the Indian population. The heavy taxation, cultural insensitivity, and economic exploitation fueled widespread discontent. The Sepoy Mutiny of 1857, a major uprising against British rule, led to the dissolution of the East India Company. This rebellion was a turning point, highlighting the deep-seated anger and resistance among Indians. India came under direct British Crown rule, ushering in a new era in the empire's history. The British Raj began, marking a period of direct governance by the British Crown, which would last until India's independence in 1947. The 19th century, particularly the Victorian era, marked the peak of the British Empire's power and influence. This period saw unprecedented growth and transformation within Britain and its colonies. Driven by industrial might and fueled by imperial ambitions, Britain expanded its control across Africa, Asia, and the Pacific. The empire's reach extended to every corner of the globe, showcasing its dominance. The empire acquired vast territories including Australia, New Zealand, Canada, large parts of Africa, and islands in the Caribbean and Pacific. These acquisitions were not just for prestige, but also for economic exploitation and strategic military bases. This period of rapid expansion was driven by several factors: economic interests, national pride, and the desire to spread British culture and influence played significant roles. The Industrial Revolution gave Britain a technological and economic edge, allowing it to project its power globally. Innovations in machinery, transportation, and communication revolutionized industries and facilitated the empire's expansion. The rise of nationalism fueled imperial competition among European powers. Countries like France, Germany, and Belgium also sought to expand their empires, leading to a race for colonies. The quest for new markets, resources, and strategic advantages drove Britain's expansionist policies. Colonies provided raw materials for British industries and served as markets for British goods. The phrase, "the sun never sets on the British Empire," became a popular saying, reflecting the empire's vast reach across the globe. This global presence was a testament to Britain's unparalleled influence and power during the Victorian era. Central to the British Empire's power was its dominance at sea. The Royal Navy was the most powerful navy in the world for centuries. It controlled key trade routes, protected British interests, and projected British power across the globe. British naval supremacy was evident in numerous conflicts, including the defeat of the Spanish Armada in the 16th century, the Napoleonic Wars in the early 19th century, and World War I in the 20th century. The Navy's ability to control the seas was crucial for maintaining communication lines, transporting troops and supplies, and enforcing blockades against enemies. It was a symbol of British might and a key factor in the empire's global reach. The British Empire's expansion came at a significant cost. The exploitation of resources and labor in colonized territories led to widespread poverty, inequality, and social unrest. Indigenous populations often faced displacement, discrimination, and cultural suppression. The empire saw numerous rebellions and uprisings against British rule. The Indian Rebellion of 1857, the Morant Bay Rebellion in Jamaica in 1865, and the Mau Mau uprising in Kenya in the 1950s are just a few examples of the resistance faced by the British. These uprisings highlighted the injustices of colonial rule and contributed to growing calls for reform and independence. The 20th century brought significant challenges to the British Empire's global dominance. The two world wars, fought on a global scale, drained Britain's resources and weakened its position in the world. The rise of new global powers, such as the United States and the Soviet Union, further challenged British supremacy. The costs of maintaining a vast empire, coupled with growing anti-colonial sentiments, made it increasingly difficult for Britain to hold on to its colonies. The period after World War II saw a wave of decolonization movements sweep across the globe. Colonized people, inspired by ideals of self-determination and fueled by resentment against colonial rule, demanded independence. Britain, weakened by war and facing pressure from international organizations like the United Nations, gradually granted independence to its colonies. India and Pakistan gained independence in 1947, followed by numerous African and Caribbean nations in the following decades. By the late 20th century, the British Empire had largely ceased to exist. Most of its former colonies had gained independence, marking the end of an era. However, the legacy of the empire lived on. Britain maintained close ties with many of its former colonies through the Commonwealth of Nations, a voluntary association of independent sovereign states. The Commonwealth, established in 1949, promoted cooperation and development among its members, many of whom shared historical and cultural ties. The British Empire left an indelible mark on the world. Its legacies are complex and multifaceted, encompassing political systems, legal frameworks, economic structures, languages, and cultural practices. The English language, spread through colonization and trade, became a global lingua franca. British legal principles such as common law influenced legal systems in many parts of the world. The empire's economic policies shaped global trade patterns and contributed to the rise of industrial capitalism. However, the empire's legacy also includes the negative impacts of colonialism, such as economic exploitation, cultural suppression, and political instability. Understanding the British Empire's history requires acknowledging both its achievements and its failures, recognizing its enduring influence on the world we live in today.